Hey everyone, it's Tracy Valk here. I'm coming to you tonight with a quick little video because I am making from our Epic Life meal guide the pumpkin and bean chili. So I wanted to come and share this with you because what I'm doing is, well, I'm adding a little bit to it because that's what we like to do, and we like to customize it and make it our own. So when you are making your chili, you're gonna follow the ingredient list here in the guide, and you are going to just get all your ingredients ready. But here's where you can really customize it. Now, this is a pumpkin and bean chili. Well, my boys still like to have some meat. So in order to keep it on plan, you simply just divide the amount of beans in half. And I've got 2 pots going because what I'm doing is I'm doing a vegetarian one and the meat one. So I just doubled the batch, and it's gonna be nice because we're gonna all have dinner tonight, and then we're all gonna have lunch tomorrow or dinner tomorrow as well. And this is how I like to cook, so that tomorrow I don't have to worry about lunch. It's all ready to go. So in this pot, I've just got the recipe as is, though I'm gonna tell you a few of my additions. And in this pot, I've added some meat. So I just half the beans and put in a ½ pound of meat to bulk up the protein. And then it's totally fine. And that's what's amazing about these recipes. Once you start using the recipes in the guide or the portion scoops to create your own meals, you can really see that customizing to suit your taste is very, very easy. So I've just started this, so it needs a bit to blend together. I figure it's going to be ready in about maybe 20 to 30 minutes. And in the recipe, it talks about adding 1 cup frozen mixed vegetables. Well, for our chili, what we like is chunks of red pepper. So what we actually do is, before I do anything, I put some onions in the bottom of the pot with a little bit of water and a tiny drip of olive oil, and I saute my onions in that water and oil to start with. And though you really don't need a lot of oil, you can actually just saute onions in water if you want to skip the oil, and you get a really nice softened, sort of that translucent glow on the onions. So I use that. I use onion, and then I put in my peppers, and then for this one, I then added the meat and browned the meat, and then I added in all my other ingredients. The pumpkin, the beans, our Epicure vegetable broth with ½ a cup of water. So just FYI, when you're making the vegetable broth, save yourself a step. You don't need to actually make the broth in a dish like this that's cooking. It is 1½ teaspoons per 1 cup. So for me, I just put in about a heaped ½ teaspoon in each pot, and then added in ½ a cup to each. You don't need to go ahead and prep the broth. So just a little tip on that. You would prep it if you were, drinking it straight. That's a great thing, by the way. If you're ever feeling like you're just fading, in the afternoon, and you need something, right? Choose healthier options. Of course, ideally on the Epic Life program, you're going to skip snacking because you want that micro fast in between. But sometimes, later at night or in the middle of the afternoon, you just can't make it. And instead of caving and grabbing a bag of chips or a chocolate bar, make up some of our vegetable broth. Put a little bit of sea salt in there with some hot water, and it's really, really satisfying to just sip on that, and it's really comforting. It warms you up, and it's just a nice little trick. So that's kind of one of my tricks if you're really having a bad day and that habit has just gotten you used to reaching for something even though you're not hungry. You can try something like that. And so One of my additions though that I wanted to tell you is one of the seasonings that we add into here is cinnamon. So cinnamon doesn't add anything, you know, it's a free spice, so go nuts with it. But it's just something that my son and I added into our chili one time when he was kind of taking charge, and he was only like 8 years old, and it just stuck. So you know, it's just a great little addition. It really brings out the flavors, those kind of chili flavors. So you can try that. So I just thought I would, you know, add that. We like our chili a little bit more saucy, so we add an extra can of tomatoes split up between the two pots. So it's half a can of extra tomatoes, which again, if you're talking about, you know, meal planning and healthy eating, you don't really need to worry too much about adding more veggies, right? Adding extra veggies is never really going to be a problem. But the pumpkin in this recipe is a really great way to get in some healthy carbs without, or, you know, and just like having it be a better choice. So of course, you're not going to add like a bun or anything on the side with this. Though if you really want to, and you really want to enjoy this chili, put in a little bit less pumpkin and have a small, like half of a dinner roll on the side, or skip the pumpkin altogether and just make the chili without it and have a small dinner roll on the side. And that will keep your plate perfectly balanced. We're gonna serve it with a little side salad, just a little bit of greens. We're gonna do really easy salad. My salads are usually like lettuce. I don't usually do too much in salads. We just like some greens and a little tablespoon of dressing over top. Sometimes I actually don't even need a tablespoon of dressing because our dressings are so flavorful. But there you go. I just thought I would share those tips with you tonight. And if you are trying this recipe this week, let me know. If you want to batch cook this, just quadruple your recipe. And you will have to stock up more on the cha-cha chili from your consultant, because there's only one package in that in our Epic Life kit. But what a great recipe to batch cook and portion right away and pop in the freezer. These make delicious lunches. You know, if you want to serve this with some chopped up veggies on the side, just to add more veggies, or when you're cooking, if you just want a big old fat bowl of chili to balance the plate, add some veggies in here. If I wasn't serving this to my kids, I would simply add, instead of having a side salad, I would simply add a whack ton of spinach in here, and this would be a perfectly balanced meal without anything on the side. But my kids aren't huge fans of spinach, and so I want them to eat dinner, so I'm just gonna leave it out. But you can add some green beans in here. You can add more peppers. You can add, you know, some mushrooms. Really anything that you like that bulks up the veggies instead of having that salad on the side. If you're just not a salad kind of person, go for it. An extra cup or two in this recipe, if you want to skip the salads, would be perfect. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this. Share below if you're making this chili, if you've tried this chili, what you think. And again, you know, customize to taste. If you want it spicier, throw in some hot sauce. If you need a little bit of more, like a bit more of a kick, add in some of our, you know, turmeric and black pepper. And if you're using no sodium products like I do, and you need just that little bit of salt in there, put in some real sea salt with our Epicure sea salt grinder, and you're set to go. Have a great week, everyone.